Is all that celebratory gunfire injuring people? A few years back, a friend of mine in Utah was hit by a round fired into the air. It didn't have nearly as much power as a more direct shot, but it was still enough to reach her lung. She's recovered and is none the worse for wear, but that was one guy being stupid on the 4th of July. I'd hate to be anywhere near some of the mass celebratory fire you see. Edit, it was 9 years ago on Pioneer Day. Time sure does fly. Occasionally, yes. There have been quite a few videos on the late live leak, for example, showing people often in the Middle East accidentally executing wedding guests, friends, bystanders, even themselves with wild, uncontrolled gunfire. Yes, it's very possible if those bullets fall into a populated area. People have died from falling gunfire before. Yes, it happens all the time in Arab states. Search up celebratory gunfire kills at wedding. It punched a hole in the trunk of my car once. Glad it was my car and not me, but still sucked to pay out of pocket to fix someone else's stupidity. Haven't you seen the movie The Mexican? They did this on Mythbusters 15 years ago. I thought they found that the terminal velocity of a bullet falling from the sky is not lethal. Yes, it has been reported before. Everything that goes up goes down, and in the case of bullets with enough energy to still be lethal, shooters tend to fire at an angle, so they are not usually injured by their own bullets, but bystanders might be. What goes up must come down. That includes bullets. Years ago, when I lived on the edge of downtown, my ceiling started to leak on a rainy day. I was in a second-story walk-up apartment and called the landlord. He went up on the roof and dug a chunk of metal out of the flat roof. It had punched through just enough to compromise the seal, right above my bedroom. He tried to tell me it was a meteorite. Yeah, right. Gun stupidity is limited here, but does happen. Yes, if you're shooting perfectly straight up, terminal velocity of a bullet will hurt, but very unlikely to kill. Most don't weigh enough. Not shooting it straight up, it will become more deadly. Boogie 2298 was charged with a felony for firing a warning shot at another YouTuber who came to his house. The charge was specifically for the warning shot, which could come down anywhere, not for pointing a gun at the guy and telling him to get off his property. Jarts, but with less fun. It could hit someone on the way down. It's actually very rare, but it does happen. I remember a kid got killed in New Orleans during the 80s or 90s because of this celebratory gunfire, so police started enforcing no gunfire on New Year's Eve or any other time for that matter. It's not something dangerous like Jarts. It's not uncommon for bystanders to be injured. If they literally shoot straight up, the terminal velocity of the bullet wouldn't likely be enough to seriously injure someone. Firing at an angle certainly could. Let's hope when the orange-faced regime here is toppled after screwing up the state's people don't do this. Firing a gun straight up is dangerous because the bullet slows to terminal velocity before it hits someone. Firing a gun in a very high arc is dangerous because it will still be traveling faster than terminal velocity when it hits something.